What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Green Line Breakdown. Week 6, 7. Anyway, took a week off last week, and not much was going on. We played 2 games against the Nets, and I figured there wasn't. Hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Hope you saw your families. Hope you had a nice time. Hope you had a good amount to eat, good amount to drink. And now we are turning the corner here into the winter, into December. The holiday months have begun. Really, they've been going, but this is my time of the year. Christmas, you start hearing that music every day, all the time. Colorful lights. I enjoy this time of the year. The NBA season is also turning a corner. I feel like this is the time of the year where the league kind of lights up a little bit. NBA Cup is about to happen, the playoffs, the actual cup tournament, which the Celtics are bounced from, regretfully. But from here on, you'll start to kind of get more of marketing from the leagues. I think ESPN starts to wean off football a little bit because the football season is coming towards the end. I think they have a month left. College football is about to go to playoffs. So you start to see here into January a little more push towards basketball because that's what you're going to have from January, to May. And that's really going to be their prime seller, especially ESPN, but also those other TV deals. So where are we? Where are we as a team? We are, in one word, mediocre, which is kind of a hard thing to accept, but we are extremely mediocre. We show up at random times and we don't show up at random times. And we're so many weeks into the season now, I can't put my foot on it. What it is that we're doing wrong or what it is we're doing right, because it's different every night. There's a couple of big things that we've talked about in the past on what our issues, rebounding being one of them, and what our strengths, which I think there's not a whole lot of strength right now. Jaylen Brown is a guy I point to who is kind of delivering on what we were hoping he would bring, but there's other guys that are disappointment. I mean, Derek White's starting to come along, but he's still not in the form he was last year. Pritchard's doing well, and a couple of these other young guys are stepping up, but there is holes in the team and kind of the game plan and some questions towards Missoula. And we're about sitting around 500 because of it. So let's get into it. Like I said, we took the week off. I don't want to spend too much time on the games, kind of give you a rundown and quick thoughts on it. I have some notes here. But this is definitely, I think, a intersection of the season where you're kicking it into high gear. You are no longer warming up. You have your lineups. You know what other teams are going to bring. You know what teams are going to suck. And that's basically it. So November 18th, I left you guys off the Monday before, the 17th. We played the Nets. The Nets are one of the worst teams in the East, if not the worst. I think they're probably 11 or 12, but the bottom 4 teams all had 1 or 2 wins, so they're pretty bad. And we handled them. 113-99. We did what we had to do. Jaylen Brown, 29 points, Pritchard, 22 and 10 rebounds, which was huge. When Pritchard has a rebounding game like that, you can't beat us. When your point guard's kind of running in the paint and covering big guys, and the Nets have good big guys. They have Claxton at their center, and I love Nick Claxton. He's not too shiny of a guy, but he's a guy that always seems to be out there and doing what needs to be done. He's a guy I would love to see on our team, but I think the Nets love him because he should have been a tradable asset the last 2 or 3 years, and I have never seen him up in conversation. But if we can get Claxton this year, I would love to have Claxton on this team. I think he would just be a perfect fit. He did well. Rotation, some of these rotation role notes. Pritchard with the rebounds. Guard play was standing out. This game was a reminder that it can still be ugly, but when the bench is starting to grab points and rebounds and do small things here and there, it's hard to beat us because you got guys that are going to carry in the starting lineup. But when the bench helps us out, whether that's technically Pritchard coming off the bench there, but whether that's, the rookies and Gonzalez or now Williams you see stepping up, or, Jordan Walsh is getting more minutes, or just Hauser having a good night. If any of those guys, 2 or 3 of those guys are having a good game, it is hard to beat us. But if those guys aren't showing up at all, it's very easy to lose. So it's such a huge pendulum switch, depending on those group of characters. I like to see them a little more consistent, of course. And consistency is always key in this league. And with what we're doing now, they really need to become more consistent. Easier said than done, but they definitely need to get it done, or I'm going to cry. And then you had the NBA Cup game on Friday. you need to win this game. You already dropped a game to Sixers, Orlando. I forget which team. Well, you dropped a game. And when you drop a game, you have to go 3-1 and you have to win the scoring margin to win the division or whatever it is, the group C, I think we are. Again, Nets, one of the worst teams in the league. You have to put a lot of points on to help yourself in the group. And you come out, I mean, it was just flat, just terrible, terrible all around. One of those games is hard to watch. I mean, when my eyes don't open wide often, but when when I'm watching the game like this the whole time, or, like this, come on. It was bad all around. If you'd watched that game, you had just a terrible, terrible time. A couple of things I wanted to point out, Nick Claxton, triple-double, huge night from him. Like I said, great player. He's underrated, I think, in this league. I think for a Nets team that's been pretty terrible for the last 3 years, he's been one kind of unifying point where he's always someone you can go to and expect to do the grunt work. And then every once in a while, he'll pop off. And he did against us. And he really exposed just how bad of a rebounding team we are. He was covering everything. Points, rebounds, assists, triple-double. He was a huge matchup problem in the paint. Kind of goes to the Nets' size. They're a taller team, even though the talent's not there. They're taller, and we're not, and we got exposed. It's crazy to see, like, talent-wise, you could stack up very well, but if your height isn't there in basketball, you'll lose, even if they're horrible, and we got exposed. A lot of interior creation from the Nets. They didn't care about the perimeter as much. They focused inside the paint, inside the arch, and they got the job done. 113-105. And that final score doesn't really encapsulate the game, I don't think, because we were probably down by 20 at one point. There's the third or the fourth against the Nets, against one of the worst teams in the East. You're down by 20 points. Can't have that. Can't have that at all. It's just, what are you doing? What are you doing as a team? That is horrible. And this goes back to why I didn't want to have 1 week of a video of just these two Nets games, because I didn't want to come up here and just talk how bad that week was. Even though we got a win on Tuesday, it's a win we definitely should have. And then on Friday, you have an important NBA Cup game, and you blew it. You smoked it. And it's infuriating. It's kind of what this season has really, really, really just been across the board, which is just infuriating. Stuff doesn't make sense. The lineups haven't always been there, and inconsistency just everywhere. Every corner of this team has it. It's good to see we're not just laying down like the first 2 weeks were kind of showing out to be when we went 0-3. We're just like, oh, well, we're done. And I think a big part of that was winning that Cleveland game in the second week against a good Cleveland team. So, we're not laying down. It's just we don't have an identity, I don't think. I think last year when you had, obviously the 3-point shooting on the perimeter, and what I would also say was very hard interior work. A lot of that coming from Tatum with his rebounding specifically, but there is no identity to this team at the moment. And when you're a team that has no identity, it does not matter how much talent you have on the team. It doesn't. It doesn't at all. You are going to get exposed. You're going to be inconsistent, and you are going to lose games because of it. So that's the 1 week. And then, you had a quick turnaround, right? You had Orlando. You're playing Orlando, a strong defensive team. That is their identity. That is what they are known for. They are strong. Interior defensively, on the perimeter defensively. They're not they're shot creating team. They do a lot of one-on-ones. Banchero does a lot of the work, which is good. They're a good team, though, because they're so strong defensively, they keep the scores low and they win by what they need to win by, that's fine because you're winning the games the way you play the game. Dictate how you want to play. Orlando dictates low scoring games and creates open shots and gets those open shots. Not a lot of contested shots. And Banchero does a lot of the legwork. But they win games that way. That's an identity. And that's what the Celtics need. They need something to point at and say, this is what we're going to bring you generally every night. And you either beat us playing that way or don't beat us that way. But I just think they're too flippy-floppy. And they're just trying different things and seeing what lineups work. And there's nothing from watching these games, there's nothing I can point to. And like, that's kind of who we are as a team. We're playing this way specifically, and you either beat us playing this way specifically, or, we're going to beat you. But we're just not there. There's no image to be created from what we have done so far. Anyway, you come out November 23rd against off of a bad Brooklyn Nets loss. and you score 138 points on Orlando. In 38 points, Jaylen Brown, 35 points. I not 16, 12 of those coming in the second quarter. Well, shooting. I think it was 80% in the first half. It's pretty unheard of. Offense was definitely the big part of this game, which I just said Orlando's a strong defensive team, and we were bringing it to them so hard that they lost their identity, which doesn't happen often to this Orlando team. But it does happen often to us when the inverse is happening, when a team's coming against us and we don't have a identity and image to put down on the ground and bang the pavement. What happens is we lose sense of that and the game kind of spirals out, which is what happened to Orlando in this game. We were pushing it to them. We were scoring. Obviously, we scored abnormally well, so that's always going to shake a team. But when you are shooting that well, you're going to carry on with it or not, or you fizzle out and then you have to change up the whole scheme. But, a strong defensive team, you score 138 points. That's something to hang your hat on. But what the hell happened? Why are you playing the Nets, one of the worst teams, barely getting one? I think he scored 110. But then you come out of Orlando and score almost 140 points. It doesn't make any sense. They're not back-to-back games, and I know every game's different, every team's different. I get it, but that doesn't make any sense. If you scored 140 on Brooklyn and came out of Orlando and lost a close game, I'd be like, okay, yep. They're a tough team. We don't have the talent, or we didn't have it in tonight. We weren't playing the way we should. It would make sense. I wouldn't be baffled by this. But here I am baffled because I do not get how you have no sense of any linear play, of any okay, Brooklyn sucks, let's whack them. Orlando's tough team, let's play them this way. You're just kind of showing up when you want to show up, and you don't when you don't. And that's kind of what makes me upset, is I just don't feel like they have it in every night, which you have to with as good of a team as you are. Everybody in the league understands you're not the most talented team without your number one guy. Brown is doing a heck of a job, but, Derek White's not doing too well as a second or a third, and you have no size. So consistency has to come into play. We have to beat the drums on that. We have to get a sense of our image. We have to be a team with an identity, because if we don't, this is going to happen. We're just going to have weird games all season, and I don't want to watch that, and you don't want to watch that, and it just makes no sense, but that's where we were, and I'm happy you got the win against Orlando, but it's just weird. So you got the win against Orlando, and then you play the Detroit Pistons, a team who is on a 13-game winning streak, and if they win against you, that's history for the Detroit Pistons, for their organization. They've never had a 14-game winning streak. So one, that's history. Two, if they win the group for the NBA Cup. So here is a very tough matchup against the number one team in the East. Detroit is playing very well. Kate Cunningham playing MVP level basketball. That team, I love the makeup of that team. God, I got to look up his name. Isaiah Stewart, Detroit center, big, mean bastard. And honestly, I don't know much about he's a good basketball player. He's really tough. He's a guy I would love to see in a Celtics jersey, because I think we just need that grit, and we've been missing it for years. I know we won a championship, but we haven't really had a mean MFer like him, and I would love to see him. If you don't remember, he was the guy, I think LeBron scratched his eye. He was bleeding from his eye. He didn't let that shit slide. He went after LeBron's ass, and LeBron was scared. That's a guy that'll scrap, and I wish we had him on our team. And he played tough against us. But Detroit's also got, you got one of the Thompson brothers. I think it's that's the one on Detroit. They got Duncan Robinson, who I actually do like. He was, a good player in Miami. So between those couple of guys, Karis LeVert, good player. Kate Cunningham's the leader of that team, and they are a very good team this year. And I did see a quote from Joe Mazzulla where it was saying last year, it's they weren't getting a lot of wins last year, but you looked at them and saw the makeup of that team and said, they are a very good team. I think their coach that they have right now is doing a lot of the legwork there for them, really uniting that team. And you know what? Like I said, historical run, they were going to play us tight. If they win, they go to the NBA Cup, the tournament. So you look at this with the inconsistencies we have and say, God, we have no shot. And you know what? Everything I've been asking for, everything that I was hoping to see came out Derek White had a hell of a game. Pritchard had a hell of a game. We played a lot of small ball this game. A lot of small lineups, but it's not just that we were small. There's a difference between we are small, and there's no way around that. The small ball lineups were deliberate. A lot of point guards, shooting guards out there. You had Derek White, Brown, Pritchard, Simons, Minot. You got all these guys. Hauser, who might be a forward, but small guys, small size. And you leaned into the three-point shooting, and your shots were going down. And the defense was as good as it could be with the lineups you were playing because, Levert and his name, Isaiah Stewart, you got Tobias Harris, Jalen Duran, a lot of big guys on that Detroit Pistons team. But you did it. You did what you had to do. Derek White, 25 range, several late threes in the fourth. Clutch threes. You had a lot of guys stepping up to play. And the big thing was offsetting Detroit's size with that small ball. And Joe Mazzulla, if you are listening, I think you just need to stick with that. I understand you switch it up for teams. I get it. Big dog. Joe, psychopath, don't kill me. I get it. But I think that is the best I have seen. From a coaching perspective, from a team perspective, I just think it worked. And I don't be afraid to do that every game for the next couple of games, just to see if it really works. I think that might be our lineup for the year. And honestly, I don't love it, but I'm going to say it 1,000 times. We need an image. We need an identity. Small ball, 2018, 2019 Rockets. We don't have anybody like James Harden, of course, but with Chris Paul on that team, that worked for them. And it might be what we need unless Tatum can get back within a range. March, April, which I don't think is going to happen, but very well could. It is the right way to go down the rest of the season. I just think so. Unless we make trades, unless things change, just with the lineup we have in front of us, go the small ball route. I think it'll work because I think other guys will get comfortable with the three-point shooting. I've seen a lot of trade rumors with Anthony Simons. If we're getting a good forward back or a center back, I'll take it. But if we don't, and we're just trading scraps for scraps, I don't like that too much. So I think if we're going forward with the guys we have, go small ball, let them get their three-point shots consistent. It'll come. Derek White, Simons, Hauser, Jared Brown, his three-point shooting's up for the season. Derek White, all these guys. Minot, a Gonzalez, kind of a forward, but, if we can focus in on that, I think it'll be to our benefit. I just liked what I saw. Gritty win. Came down to the end. 117, 114. Gritty win. So that's the best thing I've seen at you guys. What do we do from here? There was one game left, which was, I'm recording this on Sunday. This was last night's game on Saturday. I'll post this on Monday. Timberwolves, good team. I like the Timberwolves. I like Anthony Edwards. Favorite thing about Anthony Edwards is he paid all his child support in a one-time payment, and his baby mama accepted that. You are a dog. Big ups, brother. Yeah, that's great out of you. Unimaginable levels of aura from that. He said, hell nah, I don't want to see that kid in my life. Take the money. And she took it. Good for you. But back to his basketball play, I just love the way he plays. He's very annoying, but in a good way. Like there's some annoying players. When Dylan Brooks is annoying, it's like, all right, get the hell off the court. Thanasis Antetokounmpo, when he doesn't play ever, but he gets his ass on the court to bother everybody, I don't like that. Anthony Edwards, when you're the leader of the team and you play like the way you do and you're annoying, I like that. I just like it. It was close, back and forth. It really, like down the stretch, we were down by like 15 with 3 minutes left, something like that. And I looked away, looked back, minute and a half, and we're within 4 or 5. And I'm like, I don't know what happened. I missed that part of the game, so couldn't tell you. But a lot of clutch plays from their side. So DiVincenzo, who they got in the Karl Anthony Towns, the New York Knicks trade, that was a good pickup. I like him. Clutch plays from him. We led at the half. Mike Conley, old man Conley, Anthony Edwards, and DiVincenzo, they just swung the game in the end. I mean, Ant had 39 points, which was the game-sealing 3 was included in that. Jaylen Brown had 41. Great offensive output from him. Keita had a really good rebounding night. And Keita, with the player you are, I don't care if you score no points. You need to have a good rebounding night. That's what you're there for. If you want to, have a lot of offensive putbacks, great. That's a added benefit. But if you don't do that, at the very least, can you get your ass in the paint and go for a rebound? He was injured, but he's back, and I hope he stays healthy, and I hope he keeps doing that. Keep that up. I'd love to see that from you. But stay healthy. I think it was season highs for him between the boards. So we led by 10.5, then we got outscored. And they had a lot of aggression that second half of the game, the Timberwolves. Aggression I don't ever see from us. And one of the reasons I like the Timberwolves. So good team. I'm not going to sit here and say, not like the Brooklyn game where we blew it. Like, that's a good team. If we lose against that team and it's a tight game, that's all we can do. So I'm not going to chirp on you for that. I don't think anybody is. And, it was an entertaining game. It's annoying to see you lose, but it's entertaining. Edwards is a superstar. Brown had 41 points. Couldn't ask more of him. And that's where we were. And that's where we are. And that's kind of the 2 weeks that passed by us since the last episode. So where are we as a team? Where is the league? Let's get into the NBA Cup here. We're out. We are out of the NBA Cup. We dropped 2 games. So not going to happen for us this year, which is okay. It's disappointing, but it's a product I still like to watch. I think it's one of the best ideas from the NBA, who has had a lot of bad ideas in the last couple of years. The NBA Cup is a good idea because it's really just regular season games that have minor importance added to them. I don't like the courts. I think they need to get rid of the courts or just make them like a little more fancy, but normal. The color wash, excuse me. The color wash of like those bright yellow, blue courts are just gross. And I hate seeing them on Instagram, never mind watching a whole game. So that sucks. But just Adam Silver having the added benefit of those games, it's just something to watch for, making them, I like it when it's Friday nights. You had a really good game with the Bucks and the Knicks. I mean, they were scrapping each other towards the end until the Knicks pulled away. Winner went to the cup. Like, you have games like that in November when nobody's really watching. You're still watching football and all that, and it just adds to it. It's very enticing to watch. So let's take a look at the standings. I'll run down my thoughts on who might run away with that, and we'll go from there. So in the East, you've got Orlando coming out of the Group C, which was the Celtics group. Orlando, Toronto, and New York, and the Heat are the wild card. So it's Orlando versus the Heat and Toronto versus the Knicks. Dear God, if the Knicks win this, I'll die. I hate the Knicks so much. Please, Toronto or whoever wins between Orlando and Miami. I think Orlando's going to beat Miami. Orlando, please come out of the East. If the Knicks come out and win this thing, they're going to ride themselves so bad. It's going to be annoying. And in the West, you got OKC, Houston, LA, Spurs. Something about the East, I don't know. Obviously, New York's a big team. Miami, I guess, is a big team. But Orlando, Toronto, I don't know. The East is weird this year. The West are teams I expect, outside the Suns. Suns randomly doing all right this year. OKC's number 1. Lakers, Spurs, they're up there. Those are the teams I would hope are getting national attention. Those are good teams. Wemby and the Spurs. Lakers doing really well, which is terrible to see, but yeah, it's going to be tough to watch. So yeah, I mean, who could I see coming out of this? I would love to see the Spurs win this, I think, just to have Wemby get a little more shine. OKC, if they win it, kind of boring, but I could see that too. Lakers, dear God, please, no Lakers. The only one in the East that I'm like, oh, that'd be cool if they won is maybe Orlando, but yeah, the West is definitely the more exciting side, I think. And we'll see in the next couple of weeks how that falls. But again, it doesn't really mean anything. It's just you get a trophy and you say you won the in-season tournament. That's it. But it is a cool added caveat to the season. So we're out of it. Tough. And yeah, that's the NBA Cup. So standings. Where are we? Where is the rest of the league? How are we looking? Do I have faith we're going to do anything this year? So where are we right now? We're 9th. We are 9th in the Eastern Conference. I think I said at the beginning of the season, if we're anywhere from 7 to 10, that's kind of where I expect it. Wild card, whatever they call it. Playing team. Those are the playing games. That's kind of what I would expect. I mean, if you look at the teams who are above that right now, Detroit number 1. Detroit should be number 1. They're playing like they're number 1. The Raptors are number 2, which haven't watched the Raptors game all season, so I honestly don't know much about what I'm talking about, but it's 14-6, 9-1 in their last 10 games. Crazy. I don't know where that's from. I'm going to have to watch the Raptors because I don't think I can even speak on them. Knicks at 3. They're a good team. Knicks are going to be up there. The Heat at 4. And now we're kind of getting close on each other. Detroit's at 16-4. Raptors are 14-6. Knicks are 12-6. Heat at 4 are 13-7. And like the next four teams are all like 12-6, 12-7, 13-6. They're all very close with each other. Heat, yes, a good team. Hawks, 12-8. Hawks are a good team. Porzingis is really added for him, added depth. Cleveland at 6. I think they're going to end up pulling away at some point, but they're one of my like top 5 teams, I think. Orlando at 7. And Orlando, I think, is a good team. We've played them 3 or 4 times. They seem a little low to me. And then there's Philly at 8, and then us at 9. I think us and Philly are very on par with each other. If Joel Embiid wasn't a bum and wasn't like a mush out on the paint, I think they would be better, but he's really a know-nothing, do-nothing kind of guy. So we're looking at like the rest of the team with, you know, their rookie and Edgecombe and Maxey and all the guys they have on that team. They're right around where we are, I think, kind of a smaller team as well. So that makes sense. If it ends up being that way, you know, I could see a couple teams in the bottom coming up, but it really does see like that's the top 10. I mean, Bulls at 10. The big thing is the Bucks at 11. Giannis missed 4 games, so I'll give them that, but the Bucks are 9-12, and they only missed 4 games. And they lost all 4, of course, but I think Giannis is gone at the end of the season. He doesn't seem like he's enjoying it anymore. Miles Turner, who should have stayed with Indiana, he's really not doing much for him. Yeah, that's tough watch. You know, they played very well against the Knicks, but kind of shocking to see them at 11. I could see them coming up to, you know, second half of the season. Hornets at 12. Doesn't shock me. They're terrible every year. Pacers at 13. Does not shock. Just disappointing to see. I love Indiana. I don't know what it is. I love Indiana. I love the Pacers. I love every guy on that team. I think Miles Turner should have stayed. Like I said, that was a great team in the finals last year. But with no Halliburton, he's the engine that makes everything go. So to see you guys at 4-16 doesn't surprise me. The Knicks are 3-16. We lost to the friggin', or sorry, not the Knicks, the Nets. Lost to the friggin' Nets at 3-16. And then the Wizards in last. So yeah, outside of the Bucks, I don't see any other teams really changing here much. I think we're going to sit around 7-10. Bulls are probably going to drop at some point. Raptors, shocking. Got to check out on them, like I said. But I think we're kind of right around where we're going to be. Maybe a little higher, but not too much higher. But we need to win a couple more games. If we had just won, there's definitely 2 games on our schedule that we should have won that we blew. And if we'd won those, we would be 6 right now. So, you know, if we drop those games, we're going to end up playing team at the 10. So that's something to look out for. I do think we're on par. I think that's right around what this team looks like. Outside of creating an identity, making a few trades, maybe getting a free agent somewhere that I'm not familiar with, I think we're going to be around 7-10. But let's look at the West. Thunder at 1, 19-1. They have 1 loss. That sucks. It kind of sucks that they had the added benefit of winning that championship with younger guys. So obviously a lot of our guys were on second contracts. Tatum, Brown, Supermax guys, second contracts. Shai was the only guy, I think, on a second contract. You know, they have those, you know, Chet's on a rookie. Jay Will was on a rookie. They paid him, but they've got like they've got 2 years extra than what we would have had, I think. We blew it up early because Tatum got hurt. I think if Tatum didn't get hurt, we would be looking at the team from last year playing this year. But OKC's got 2 extra years. We would have only had 1. So it's kind of shocking they're 19-1, but I don't know their schedule. I don't know. They could have played easy teams, but that's how it is. There's a gap between 1 and 2. Lakers at 2. I hate to say this. Outside of OKC, the Lakers might be in the finals this year because this is kind of LeBron. This is LeBron's last chance, right? So if LeBron feels this team can win it all, he's going to go all in. I don't know if you've noticed, but teams have had it and teams haven't had it that he's been on. When the Lakers, I think he's been on Lakers 8 years now. When the Lakers have a good team, he kicks it up a notch. But when they're kind of meddling and they don't really have a good team, he gives up a little early. They'll get to the playoffs still because he's LeBron. But he takes his foot off the gas. He's old, so I get it. But this is a year where he's going to kick it up a notch. Luka's in great shape, playing really well. Thebes playing really well. DeAndre Ayton is playing. He's, for, what was he, 2 or 3? Was he the number 1 pick the year he got drafted? Whatever it was, he was a top 3 pick. Not playing like a top 3 pick, but he's playing like a solid center, cleaning up the boards, which is exactly what they need him to do. He's doing exactly what they need him to do. He's the fourth best player on the lineup, and he's just covering the boards, putting them back, going up for alley-oops, all he needs to do. And that's what he's doing. He's a great player for him. They are a great team. Rui Hachimura's on that team. It makes me so upset because I would love Tatum to be healthy, and I would love to see us against this Lakers team. And I would go so far as I think we would lose, but I would love to see those two teams play. This would be such a storybook NBA year if we could get those two teams playing each other. You got Tatum, Brown, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, I wish we could have Porzingis and Holiday, but we don't have that. So, but I don't even think we're going to make it that far. Please give us DeBonsta, the kid from BYU. Give it to us. Please, Adam Silver, just give us the pick. But they're a great team, and it makes me so upset. So upset. God damn it. I hate the Lakers so much, but I do love watching that team. Then you got the Rockets at 3. The West, I think, is a little more formed to where I thought everybody was going to be. Rockets at 3, Nuggets at 4, Spurs at 5. There's no shocks there, and they're all kind of within the same 14-4, 12-4, 13-5. They're all in the same area. Timberwolves at 6, Suns at 7, Warriors at 8. The Warriors are at 8 at 11-10. Al Horford, you went to the Golden State Warriors to ring chase. When you left then, I can't believe that's what you said. You look at the Warriors with Curry, Butler, and Draymond, who are old. They're all old. I know they're great players. 2 of them are championship players. They are old. They're getting old. They're old. They're not LeBron. They're old. Dude, you'd be having the same season on the Celtics right now, and everybody would love you for it. And you would probably be having more fun. But no, you wanted to go to San Francisco, which it's not LA. San Francisco's cold. Doesn't get that warm. God, Al, you make me so mad. And honestly, it's going to be part of your legacy that you did it. And it's upsetting because you were such a selfless guy. But you have too few instances of weirdly giving up. Can't believe you went to them to be crappy. That you'll probably get in the playoffs because Curry's going to carry you there. God, if you were just on our team doing boards like we need you to, you'd be doing great. Just very upsetting, Al Horford. Trailblazers at 9, interesting enough. Grizzlies at 10, Jazz at 11, Mavericks at 12. Cooper Flag, you got Cooper Flag. He's playing okay. They're kind of picking on him, but he's playing okay. Anthony Davis is done. That trade is going to go down as the most infamous trade in NBA history, I think. I think there's going to be shouts of conspiracy always for the rest of the NBA's history. It just made no sense. And Anthony Davis is done. You got Cooper Flag. You kind of got Kyrie. Clay. I like the Dante Exum and the other guy there. I like your bigs. They're good bigs. But you're in a tough spot. They fired their GM, Nico. He was a bum. But man, tough outlook. Tough outlook from you guys. 13, the Kings. I like the Kings. I always like the Kings. They're just a team I think you can always root for. Sacramento is like a weird city to have a professional franchise. It's kind of like when Oakland had a couple of teams, but San Francisco or Sacramento is, alone, especially with all the teams in California. And I like their colors. I like the purple. I like the black. When they get good, like they were 2 years ago, I loved it. Didn't do much in the playoffs, but to see them fall from grace is tough to watch. And it sounds like they're going to blow up the team. I hope they do, because there's a lot of good players on Sacramento. I want Sabonis. I really want Sabonis. I think Sabonis would be a perfect Celtic. I think he fits some of our needs right now with the height, with the rebounding. He's such a good passer. I would love to see Sabonis in a Celtics jersey. I would give up a pick for it. Pairing Sabonis with Tatum, Brown, and Derek White, and I'd be looking at next year now, but oh my God. I don't know if the salary cap would allow for it, but a lineup of Pritchard, Brown, Derek White, Tatum, and Sabonis. Tell me I'm not, that it's just perfect. I think it would work so well. So hopefully they lose more so the team blows up. Clippers at 14. Talk about, just tough. And the Pelicans at 15. Zion needs to get traded to a good team. For a guy has never really done much. I saw a thing this morning. It was he is a bust because he was the number 1 pick and he was a very overhyped player. For him to never do anything in the playoffs, understandable. But he is still a sensational player. rotting on the Pelicans. I think the Pelicans need to be disbanded, either sent to another city or just completely wiped. There is just nothing about them that, even Charlotte, you look at Charlotte and, college basketball kind of helps that with UNC and Duke. But Charlotte's like, okay, yeah, the Hornets suck, but keep them around. Even the Wizards, the Wizards suck, but keep them around. New Orleans, something about New Orleans, I'm like, basketball doesn't work there. I don't know what it is. It's gross. The Pelicans name is gross. I don't know. Maybe I'm a hater, but that's where we are. That's the NBA standings at the moment. 20 games in. We're almost a quarter away through. I'm going to do a quarter report coming up. Hopefully finally get some people to join me on the podcast. I've been saying it for a couple weeks. Just schedules aren't matching up like I would like them to, but I think I'm going to do a table roundup, ask some questions, see how other people feel. Most of this is me talking to myself and talking to nobody on the other end. So it'd be nice to kind of get some different ideas. But that's where we are. That's what we're looking like. If you got questions, send them over for the roundup. How do you feel about the Celtics season? Are you watching basketball? Are you just listening to this? All 5 of you. It wouldn't shock me if you were. I try to do a good roundup, try to do a good history of what happened the last week. And then, yeah, give me your thoughts. But let me read off this next week of games for you guys. Big one today, Cleveland, 6 o'clock. So you got Cleveland at 6. This is a tough week coming up now. Cleveland at 6 on Sunday. Really cool if you guys could get that win because they're very close to you in the standings. You chop one off of them, you gain one, you're in good shape. You got the Knicks on Tuesday. You got the Lakers on Friday. And then you got the Raptors next Sunday. So let's not even count that as this week. Wow, I missed the Wizards. Cleveland today, Knicks on Tuesday, Wizards on Thursday, Lakers on Friday. Wow. Oh, my God. We're going to get killed. No. I'm hopeful. I think I'm going to be at the New York game on Tuesday. That'll be fun to watch. Lakers are in Boston on Friday. I don't care how shit we are. I better hear every person in that stadium. I don't live too far away. I better hear you guys from here. I'm a mile out. I better hear that arena pop. God, LeBron, I hate you, LeBron. Anyway, that's the Green Line Breakdown for you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around week 6, 7. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you come back for more next week. And welcome to the holiday season. Go Celtics.